Good morning. It's should we say hump of the week? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So what is the big news? Okay, the biggest news. Remember that last year coach that sorry, that lecture coach that headbutted a player after he
Yes.
went on the pitch to do peacemaker. He now ended up being the villain. The team has fired him. Now,
Wow.
not only has the team fired him, but the Italian Serie A has given him a 4 match ban. So if he gets any other job
Mm.
in Italy, he must serve that 4 match ban first.
Wow.
Yes, regardless of which year he gets the job. If once he gets a job in Italy, he must serve the 4 match ban first, and then he will do the job. Otherwise, that's
Or
it.
maybe
If
he can just
nobody
go
has it.
outside Italy to work,
Hmm.
right? Maybe he can just go outside Italy.
He's a fantastic coach. That's why Lecce was the one that hired him. All right. On that note, let's start the locker room. This morning we have Nigeria in Accra doing great things. They've now moved to. We'll tell you when we get to the story. In Indian Wells, some fantastic upsets happened yesterday. Some great wins happened earlier this morning. We'll be talking about that. We'll also talk about Arsenal that wanted us to stay awake till midnight. Your mates finished playing since they had gone to bed. Arsenal was still playing. I don't know what this club wants to do with us. These elephants. These elephants will not kill us, but we'll talk about them in the Champions League. We'll also touch a little bit on Europa, and one of the most informed team in Europe may need a miracle today to qualify for the next round of Europa. All of these and more in the locker room this morning. But before we go anywhere, Zibby, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
All right, you can send us messages via WhatsApp. The number is 0809 4440981. You can also tweet at smooth981. And don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube as well. So you can catch that live stream on our YouTube channel, Smooth981.
We go to the headlines and then we'll take the stories from there.
African Games, Nigeria soars to second position on medals table. Yay! Swatek surges at Indian Wells to book quarterfinal with Wozniacki. Arteta hails Magic Knights as Arsenal reach quarterfinals. Atletico coach Simeone welcomes important Griezmann return. Barca edge past Napoli to make Champions League quarters return. Luis Enrique saw Ligue 1 as easy league before PSG jog. Bayern fans banned from away leg of Champions League quarterfinal. Leverkusen, West Ham need results to progress in Europa League.
Hi. And so we'll start with the Africa Games and what's going on in Accra. And our Nigerian brothers have gone to Accra to show them that Nigerian jollof is better than Ghana jollof.
Finally, the guys woke up. Team Nigeria has surged to the second position on the African Games medals table after a phenomenal performance by their weightlifters on Monday.
The weightlifters did a thing on Monday. Now, one person bringing 3 gold medals is a massive.
Tega?
One person winning 3 gold medals is a massive feat. Fantastic one. Therefore, I was hoping Omashe was here so that I would praise him because his gender redeemed themselves. Edidion Umodong actually won 3 gold medals in different weight categories. Adijat also won 3 gold medals in various categories for the women. So basically, Nigeria's gold medals have been racking up weightlifting, wrestling. So far, so good. It has taken Nigeria to the second position on the table. We're hoping to see more medals coming in football. The women still doing great things. They won their second match by 4 goals to 0. Hopefully they'll win their third match and we'll see if they can go all the way to winning this trophy and bringing it back home. So yeah, Team Nigeria is flying high in Accra. In badminton, I think in badminton we also had one gold. In cycling, I think we've also gotten a bronze so far. So more medals coming in from other sports, because Nigeria is very football centric. We're always praising the footballers, but we fare very well in other sports. And athletics have not even started. That's where we'll cash out even more. So let's wait to see how Team Nigeria performs and where we finally end up at the end of the Africa Games.
So is Egypt the leading country on the score sheet?
Oh yes, Egypt so far the leading country. We hope that South Africa will still catch up in one or two other sports, but hopefully Nigeria will just be able to dominate and come back finishing top.
Okay. Top seed Iga Swiatek swatted aside Eula puts in Seva 6-1, 6-2 on Tuesday to set up an Indian Wells quarterfinal clash with former world number one Caroline Wozniacki.
Yeah, so this was Iga Swiatek hasn't, but forget the result. It hasn't been as easy as the result has made it look. She's still struggling with her serves. And I think if she's going to have some longevity at the top of the women's rankings, she's going to have to improve that serve sometime soon because it's really a big deal. But she's one of the best returners on the circuit, and so it makes it very hard because even if you get looks into herself, she's going to get looks into yours, and that's what makes it even harder for other opponents to get on against her. So early hours of this morning, she was able to win 6-1, 6-2, a tougher second set, but the result didn't exactly show it. She was worked extra hard in that second set, but she's come out in straight sets. Her next opponent, though, Caroline Wozniacki. Now, Wozniacki also won the Battle of the Moms yesterday because Wozniacki, with her two kids, was facing Angelique Kerber. I think Angelique Kerber has only one daughter. So it was the Battle of the Moms yesterday, and the returning moms, not just the moms that had taken maternity break and then had come back to the sport. And Angelique Kerber had been playing fantastic tennis, but she met with a Caroline Wozniacki who is very determined to get back into the top rankings, and both of them slugged it out, but Caroline Wozniacki was the one that came out top. So congratulations to them. I think Wozniacki is going to be tougher for Iga Swiatek because Caroline Wozniacki has fantastic court coverage. What makes her a really tough opponent is not that she has one of the biggest forehands, even if she does have that. It's not that she has one of the best serves. Is that she can run and cover every inch of the court in quick pace. And that didn't go with childbirth. So that I think that's what will make it a little more interesting with herself and Iga Swiatek. On the men's draw, big names fell out. Yesterday, Tsitsipas lost to Lehechka in straight sets, disappointingly so. But I think the biggest elephant that fell yesterday that made the ground and everywhere else shake was
Tega?
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, so it was supposed to be the day before yesterday, but it was early hours of yesterday morning that he played, and he was knocked out by a lucky loser. Let me tell you how lucky this loser was. He was on his way home when they called him that somebody is injured. So he needs to replace the person. He had already lost the qualifier. He was on his way to the airport. They called him, they said, oh, God, somebody is injured, so you come and replace the person. And he came back into the tournament and he knocked out world number one Novak Djokovic. So what a lucky loser he really is.
Truly. Okay, on to football. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta hailed a magic night as his side held their nerve to reach the Champions League quarterfinals, the penalty shootout victory over Porto yesterday.
Yeah, an easy matchup that was made tougher. And I say this easy matchup without meaning to disrespect Porto, even if they are still struggling. But it was something that, knowing that Arsenal had lost the first leg in such I would say disappointing circumstance because they considered a late goal in Porto. knowing that they had lost the first leg in such disappointing circumstances, you'd have expected that Arsenal at the Emirates would go all out, gung ho from the very first start of blast of the whistle to the end of the game, and maybe run riot against this FC Porto side. But Porto did not come here to play, and they set up so well that even to create chances. Arsenal is a side that will create a lot of chances, get a couple of looks at goals, and then score a few of them. Even to create those chances, it wasn't so clear cut for Arsenal because of the way Porto set up. And the longer the match went, the harder it became for Arsenal. But fortunately for them, on one of those runs where Porto tried to counter-attack Arsenal, they were caught on the other side of the pitch, and Arsenal, Martin Odegaard made this brilliant pass to Trossard, and Trossard put the ball in the back of the net, and that got Arsenal on equal terms. But Arsenal, for some reason, couldn't find the back of the net, even after extra time. So it came down to penalties. And by God, David Raya showed exactly why Mikel Arteta placed some faith in him. Because if you were in the middle of the argument between whether Ramsdale was treated badly or whether David Raya is an improvement, last night sealed it for you. Because David Raya, in the penalty shootout, saved 2 penalties to get Arsenal through to the next round. So if I'm Ramsdale, I'm calling my agent. Please, can you find me a club where I can play? Because I'm not sure he's coming back. But for the Gunners, very good one. First time for them being in the quarterfinals in 14 years, since 2010. So this is a good one. Yes, they have been liberated just a little bit. Congratulations to the Gunners.
Okay. Still a football, Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone and defender Axel Witsel said that they hoped Antoine Griezmann's return could propel them into the Champions League quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task. Inter Milan face Atletico Madrid this time in Madrid, so maybe that's the advantage because Atletico Madrid will be playing at home. The thing is, Atletico Madrid have struggled with form. Every time they take one step forward, they take another step backwards. And this weekend they also lost in the La Liga, so not looking very bright for them. And they face an Inter Milan side that is on the rise, winning point after point, 16 points clear in the Italian Serie A, winning match after match. It's going to be a really tough task. I don't expect this to be a high-scoring matchup, but I do expect that because Atletico Madrid are trying to get back in it, they will go at Inter Milan. The problem is, should they go at Inter Milan and leave their already vulnerable defense exposed? Then they might be gathering more goals instead of scoring more goals. So it's a tough place for Atletico Madrid to be in. But the good news is they have a key man in Antoine Griezmann back. That would be great news for any coach, especially Diego Simeone, because Antoine Griezmann has been impactful for Atletico Madrid. When he's not scoring, he's creating the chances. So it's great to have him back. Will he be match fit or will he be match rusty? That one is left to see. But just the fact that he's available to play for Atletico Madrid in a match that they need to win against Inter Milan will be great news for not just Diego Simeone, but even the players of Atletico Madrid.
All right. You're still listening to The Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. WhatsApp number to get your thoughts across, 0809 4440981. Stay with us. The conversation continues.
Zibby, I zoned out.
Sorry?
I zoomed out.
I didn't hear you.
You there was a time you were saying that you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, for like 10 seconds. It happened twice. So, yeah.
I haven't even changed position.
Network. Really?
Yeah.
That network, you don't need to do much for it to work for you. Oh my goodness. We don't need another hero. We just need to know the way home. Do 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 do. I paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. and bad mistakes. I made a few. I consider it a challenge before all the human race. Whew. Now I need to get my voice back. You're inside the locker room. You're inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1. It's Tega and Zibby. We're talking about sports. Get your thoughts across. And yes, we're streaming live, as always. It's on YouTube, youtube.com/smooth981. You can catch the live stream. You can post a comment on there. And I see your messages coming through. Keep them coming. 0809 440 981.
Let's take some stories before we get into those messages, should we?
All right. Barcelona survived a nervy second half to beat Napoli 3-1 on Tuesday and reached the Champions League quarterfinals 4-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, that was always going to be a tough one. Remember, the first leg ended 1-1, evenly poised and all. And I did think that Napoli was really going to give Barcelona a run for their money, especially because Barcelona were the ones playing at home and they hadn't been in such great form. And I felt that the pressure on them could make them make some mistakes that Napoli could capitalize on. Unfortunately for Napoli and for myself, we were both stunned because Barcelona first went 1 goal up and then they went 2 goals up. And I was just like, this is going to be a tough task for Napoli, considering the form that Napoli themselves are in. But they came back in the second half with renewed hope. Why does that sound familiar? They came back on. I'm sorry. They came back rejuvenated and with a desire to try and balance things out. And then when they scored and made it 2-1, it really set the game on a knife edge. Fortunately for Barcelona, they were able to get another goal and just wrap it up. But it was not an easy task for Barcelona, despite what the scoreline says. In the end, I would say the team that managed their nerves better made it through. Yeah. So yesterday was about which team could hold their nerves better, whether it was the Arsenal Porto game you're watching or it was the Barcelona Napoli game you're watching.
All right. Let's move on to the next story. Luis Enrique conceded Tuesday that before taking over as PSG's coach last year, he'd viewed the Liga as an easy league.
How they say it in local parlance, if you never go, you no go no. That's how they say it. I mean, it's that simple. And I'm from the outside looking in, be like, PSG are the only ones that have money now. PSG are the ones with the big name players. PSG this, PSG that. Until you start watching those matches week in, week out. And unlike, the English Premier League, there's a lot put on athleticism and physicality. But when it comes to other European leagues, if you watch other European leagues, technicality ranks really high up. And tactics to rank really high up on their play. So where you can physically outmuscle somebody in the English Premier League, or you can outrun somebody with the Ligue 1, with the Spanish La Liga, with the Italian Serie A, technical abilities rank a little more. Is it pragmatic? May not be, but that's how those league runs. And so when you come into the league and say, oh, PSG have all the big names, they must be the favorites. Then you meet a team like Monaco who says, we have been here for a while. Or you meet a team like Marseille who say, you know what, we are a traditional and a cultural team. It becomes tough for you. And so, yes, I'm glad that he's learning. There is no easy league, regardless of the fact that in Germany, Bayern Munich has dominated. There will be matches that Bayern Munich would wish that they don't want to play that weekend, but they have to. And so he's gone there to see that it's not an easy league. And he struggled. This weekend, PSG drew. Midweek now, they're going to be playing in the French Cup. And hopefully they'll like to get one of that. They'll like to get that trophy under their belt. They're still in the Champions League. So I think the least admirable PSG side in recent times so far seem to be the team that is getting the most results. That's tricky. That's weird. But yeah, Luis Enrique, I think is the acknowledgement that this is not easy, is the thing that has helped him to get results where others have struggled. So he's in the Champions League, he's in the French Cup, which they're playing today, and he's still top of the Ligue 1 table. So good luck to them.
All right, moving on to Germany. Bayern Munich fans have been banned from attending the away leg of their Champions League quarterfinal tie after their supporters threw fireworks onto the pitch during their 3-1 win at Lazio earlier this month.
Now, this is going to be a tough one for Bayern Munich, considering the fact that they are not in the best of places right now. So Bayern Munich has struggled to get the results. They are 10 points off the pace in the Bundesliga. They were able to get over the Lazio hurdle in the second leg because the first leg was pretty tricky. They were able to get over the Lazio hurdle in the second leg. And now in the quarterfinals, where they need their fans to cheer them up, they're going to go away and they will have no support. First of all, you are in foreign territory and then you have nobody cheering you on. I think it's really going to be a tough task for Bayern Munich. But that's what you get when your fans misbehave. It's that simple. If you want to be able to support your team, cheer them on, get them over the hurdle, get them over the line, I think the most important thing you should do is you should be respectful of your opponents, and so they cause trouble in the knockout stages. They've been fined, I think, 30,000 euros or 40,000 euros. They've been fined, but there are more consequences. No Bayern Munich away fans. The good news is that in this inflation, you can save money from not traveling. The bad news is that your team could be knocked out without any support. So I think most clubs need to learn from this. All round, I even think some coaches need to learn from it, because yesterday in the Arsenal match against FC Porto, I remember at the end of the match, the players started getting in a scuffle. And I was like, it was penalty shootout. What are you arguing about? That he didn't. What's the argument about? What are you fighting about in the penalty shootout? And then we heard in the press conference Conceição claiming that Mikel Arteta insulted his family. I'm just like, Conceição again. Because every time when Conceição loses, he's always claiming that somebody has insulted somebody. The other time he said they're disrespecting his team. Now is that they have insulted his family. I'm just like, Conceição, why don't you just lose quietly and go home and think about your loss, as opposed to losing quietly and be looking for quarrel? Yes. Again, it's things that happen in football, but once the punishments come down, it will be reduced. And so if Bayern Munich feel the pain of not having fans in the away section in the quarterfinals, next time they will comport themselves in an orderly manner so that they can support their team. It's that simple. Make the consequences dire so that offenders will stop.
Right. Okay. Bayer Leverkusen and West Ham going to Thursday, both needing positive results to reach the quarterfinals of the Europa League after failing to win their first leg ties.
Well, I would say this: Bayern Munich, the most informed team in Europe right now. They've still not lost, and I think that could be the monkey on their back. There's how you're playing. You've not lost a match, and now you're more bothered about keeping that record as opposed to winning matches. And I think that's where it's not something you plan; it's subconscious. But that's where Bayern Leverkusen are right now, because Bayern Leverkusen, that whether you think about it or not, that record is just always going to be there. Oh, we're about to lose. Is this going to be the first match we're about to lose? Oh, let's make sure we don't lose this match. And so you come out and be a little more conservative. In the first leg, they had to come from behind to now equalize to get through to the next round. So it's a tough place for Bayer Leverkusen to be right now. You almost wish that maybe they should just lose one match. Perhaps if they lose one match, then they get that monkey off their back and they can play a little more freely. But right now, it feels like they're playing, carrying some weights. And that could be a problem for them. But I expect that, at home, they'll be able to play a little better and maybe come away with the result. For West Ham, Well, it's not undoable. Remember last week in the last season in the conference league, they were able to fight it out, slug it out, go all the way to the finals and win. I expect there to be a fight back tomorrow, and I expect that they will be able to make it through. But again, this is Europe. It's an elite competition. I know some people like to say, oh, but it's not UEFA Champions League. Any European competition is an elite competition in the sense that, and I know I'm one of those who like to make noise about poor Europe, but it's an elite competition in the sense that you're playing people from other leagues whose history you don't really know. So it makes it tougher for you, but at the same time, it also gives you an advantage because you don't know them and they don't know you either. so so everybody's kind of finding each other out.
Right.
But I expect that West Ham will be able to come to the party and bring something new today. Brighton and Hove shouldn't bother. Brighton and Hove shouldn't bother. They were an embarrassment in the first leg. I actually chose their match to watch in the first leg because I thought, they put up a fight, but it was embarrassing. So I don't know what they are going to do today. It would have to be a match of epic proportions, like the Barcelona versus PSG match, for them to be able to come back. So I don't expect them to do that. Liverpool, I already think they're through. They won the first leg by 5-1. They can't lose from there, surely. Surely they can't lose from there. So those are the fixtures in the Europa for Thursday. Can we take some messages? Especially Arsenal fans, I want to hear you brag. Because it's been 14 years. You need to come out and brag about your team. And any Chelsea fans or Manchester United fans want to talk up, just tell them that you can't hear them from the top of the table. They are too low for you to hear them. All right, so let's take these messages. Oh, yes.
Emeka Onelu says, Arsenal, top of the English Premier League, qualified for the Champions League quarterfinals. Haters are crying. I'm happy. What else can a man ask for? I was wondering how I would have faced my colleagues at work today if we lost, because I've been bragging about this Arsenal team all week. Okay. Let's see. AY from Oniru says some of the teams who've already qualified for the UCL quarterfinals so far: Real Madrid, FC Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, Arsenal, and they're all big teams. This time around, all the UCL quarterfinal fixtures will be blockbusters. I am already there. Okay.
I'm telling you. So I just want to touch on that because some people say, which small team can you pull? Manchester City always tends to pull some small teams. Come and pull small team here, let's see. Because everybody here is a big team. So come and pull small team here, let's see.
Zicolo says, today's my birthday. Oh, wow. Happy birthday to you, Zicolo.
Happy birthday, Zicolo.
Yay. So he goes on back to the message. Today's my birthday, and Arsenal gave me the best birthday gift with that victory last night. Tega, are we not going to discuss that resemblance between Trossard and the ref? Okay.
No, we are not going to discuss it. I think they should both go and ask their parents where they visited. Yeah, because it's a striking resemblance. It's a striking one.
All right. Taya says, Tega renewed hope. Are you running for office? Imagine Arsenal winning the Champions League. I'd have to relocate from Aja. And let's see. This one says,
so Taya, stop bragging. Be humble. Just support Arsenal when you can.
Okay, Pius from Egbeda says, I heard that even if Girona made the top 4, they will not play Champions League next season because the owner of Man City is the same owner of Girona.
That's interesting. I didn't know that Manchester City owned Girona. I know they have a stake in some other clubs, but owned Girona like Salzburg. And you know what? I'm going to confirm that and get back to you on Friday.
All right, on Friday, we'll be dragging you by the collars for this information, Tega. Big E from Ketu says, don't underestimate Arsenal. We can win both. I'm a gunner forever. Please bring Man City and Bayern and Madrid. Them go collect. My club is hot. And he puts the fire emoji right there.
This is why people hate Arsenal. This is how people hate Arsenal. You're already bragging. Bring Real Madrid. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
Finally, Ifedaya says, good morning, Super Tega and Zibby. Shame on bad belly people. Up Gunners.
All right. And on that note, up all of you that sent in your messages to the locker room today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to us on Smooth 98.1 FM. Thank you for streaming on YouTube. And thank you for sending all your messages on WhatsApp and YouTube. So we'll come your way again on Friday with more information on Girona, especially. It's bye for now.